I'm sorry to everybody. Should I say that? Or the Logan Paul. I've been very non-self-aware. So let's just go over really quickly. What's the main FUD? Yes, breaking news. I knew who Hayden Davis was. I was familiar with his brother. I was familiar with Kelsier Ventures. This photo was taken back in March at the Waldorf, I think it's called, restaurant in LA. And we met Hayden there to get lunch. At the time, I was a content creator for Cube Exchange. I had met Hayden maybe 2 months before that in Chicago at the Cube office. That's where I was introduced to him and his brother at the same time, in a manner of they were helping with the marketing side of Cube. They were running the KOLs from now on. And so I had close contact communication with Hayden for the solid 3 to 4 months that I was creating at Cube Exchange. As far as my communication goes with Hayden Davis and Kelsier Ventures, after Cube, I hadn't spoken to Hayden or anybody from that side. 4 to 5 months. I hadn't spoken to them up until Turkey, Istanbul, Kastanbul, when we all kind of met there. Steve had always kept kind of in contact with them here and there. He had mentioned that he was in Istanbul for Kastanbul. Steve had set up a breakfast for us to go meet with him. It had been a while, hadn't seen Hayden in a while, so I said, sure, we're not doing anything this morning. So we get to breakfast, basic catch up with Hayden, everything that's going on at Kelsier Ventures. He had mentioned to me very briefly that he was doing some big launches with Meteora. He had then told me the news that he helped facilitate, those were his words, the Melania launch. I had no idea of any of that, but that was the extent of what he had kind of expressed at that breakfast. We went on to tell him that we were actually planning on going to Egypt after Istanbul, and he had mentioned he had connections in Egypt, and so he would set us up with a car, set us up at the Four Seasons. He did all that. Within that conversation, he had invited us out to Barcelona. He had invited us to Barcelona many times when we were over at Cube. We just never took him up on the offer. We figured this time, since we were over on that side of the world, and he had he was going to set these things up for us in Egypt, we figured, yeah, why not, So we went to Egypt, used the car that he had set up, stayed at the Four Seasons, and then killed some time in Paris. So skip to Monday, we land in Barcelona, Spain. We go to a dinner. It was a table this size that's in front of me. We sat down. It was mainly seafood. I hate seafood. So there was a man across from me at the table, a bald guy. I actually forgot his name. And he was asking me, about my content. He was very infatuated with the content that I had been creating in Solana. Said that he loved my selfie a days. He was asking who my team was and everything. I expressed to him that, we're a pretty small team in terms of like the filming. And then he had gone on to tell me that he had been working with Tristan Thompson in some capacity. Tristan Thompson was coming out with a crypto podcast, and he'd love to get me as a guest. He was very adamant about that. At a moment at that dinner, there was a comment made about sniping. I had said that there are apps or platforms that you can snipe on called Nova and Trojan. I've never actually I used Trojan a little bit, but the snipe feature wasn't available when I went to use it. I've never used Nova. These were just apps that I knew, or platforms, that I knew existed. And so I was just entering the conversation and been like, oh, I know Nova and Trojan offer some kind of sniping to a degree. It's now come to my attention after all of this that you can only snipe pump fund launches on it, which I actually didn't know. And I inevitably left the dinner early because I had a stream to get to. I was interviewing the MLG founders. This was a couple hours before the Aiden Ross stream with Banks and all that, and I wanted to capture some of the attention and do like the pregame. So I actually left the dinner early. That was the dinner in Barcelona. Anyway, skip to the next day. I woke up to a Telegram message from Madi / DeFi Tuna or whatever, asking if he could put me in a group chat with Tristan Thompson for this crypto podcast. I said, sure, I'd love to go on this podcast. That was my overall only communication with this guy, Madi. That was it. I actually watched the leaked footage of Madi and Ben Chow. Again, I didn't even know who Ben Chow was or what he looked like until Istanbul. That was the first time I think I've met him in person. So I just want to make that clear. Now, after us kind of going back on timelines and everything, the day after that conversation in Barcelona, I guess was when this coin Enron had launched. And in the video of Madi talking to Ben Chow, he had mentioned that he was in the room by some capacity because he had seen all these people at this table with snipers out, like little nerds on computers and their phones ready to snipe this launch. If he was in that room, he would have known I was not there. I was not a part of the Enron launch in any capacity. I learned about it on the timeline just like everybody else. I did not trade Enron. I didn't even know what Enron was until after we seen it launch or whatever. It's kind of cool to me that people think I know how to snipe, and then I'm like, actually more technical than I am, so thank you. We also have footage in this video of like timelines, just in case, of like, and with timestamps of when these videos were created on what we were doing the night that this Enron coin launched. I was actually jumping off this roof at the top of our hotel with absolutely no idea that it existed, like I said. So we have that for proof in here as well, that I had no part in the Enron launch or even knew what it was. Now, before I fast forward here, I do want to make it clear that at some point, I can't remember if it was Istanbul or if it was Barcelona, Hayden had actually showed us a picture that he posted on Instagram, which we had already seen, but we acted like we didn't see, that he was advising Javier Milei. So we figured, you know, him mentioning that he was doing launches and that he had helped facilitate the Melania, you know, launch. We figured that an Argentina coin, which is what we kind of pictured in our head, would launch it at some point, because from my understanding, that's what Kelsier Ventures was doing, was helping facilitate token launches, I guess. Fast forward, we're back in America. Libra launches. I see it all over the fucking timeline. Gigi was actually on stream at the time, which is funny about all this, is that like if you go back on the stream, you see it in real time about when we discover it. My average entry, just so everybody understands, on Libra was 2.5 billion. I broke even on the fucking coin. I've never received any token allocations. I've never received an early CA. I've never sniped or insider traded in any capacity. So I had no part in the Libra launch. I traded it just like everybody else. Now, what I will say is that you could argue, and I'll give you this point, that because we were in Barcelona and we had the information, which again was public, so there isn't really an argument, but which was public, that Hayden was doing launches, or Kelsier Ventures was doing launches, and he was advising Javier Milei, that we might have had an edge on knowing that this coin was coming. I'm not going to ignore the fact that that existed. So you could say that when Javier Milei dropped the tweet, my edge on knowing whether it was a hack or not had a better probability than the majority of people that seen that tweet. As far as actually seeing the coin exist, I seen it in the tweet. Actually, it was in a Telegram group chat. It had already been up for 9 fucking minutes. If you want to go back and do the timestamps, you also can, to kind of see where my average entry was and the minutes I had just mentioned, 9 to 10 minutes. And I traded just like everybody else. You can have opinions on me. I got pink hair. I'm loud. I'm annoying. I'm a content creator. Whatever you want. You want to call me a LARP, that's fine. But one thing that is black and white and is not opinionated is that I had no part in any of these launches. I did not receive any insider information. I don't know how to snipe, and I never received any token allocation. All in all, in this situation, it's black and white. Wrong place, wrong time. Guilty by association. Anyways, here's the rest of the video. I want to make it something a little bit more than just a fucking gay statement like this, where it feels like a YouTube apology video. I want to throw a little bit of mix into it, air it all out. What does it matter anymore? It's cooked. I'm done. I'm cooked. How far is it?
The food's good.
3 hours.
3 hours.
Oh, fuck, dude, I'm in.
Yeah.
All right, I'll start to look. It's not definite, but let me just start to look.
We came here because of death threats and swatting threats, so we left the country. Before I went to bed last night, there was a CoffeeZilla video that came out, which I'm mentioned in, and now there's rumors that Hayden has committed suicide. Nothing's confirmed. I'm not even on X right now, so I don't know. He says he was there for the Enron launch. He was in the room while they were all sniping. He was in the room. But he's made it sound like I was in that room with them. He knows I wasn't there. I had no part in the Enron launch.
We were home. And I'm pretty sure if we look at any vlog footage or seen his Meta Glass footage, we were home during the launch. I actually almost think that, were you jumping on the roof that night?
Yeah, that's what it is on my phone.
I have it on my phone. Yeah, I have timestamp.
I told Steve to text and to text our legal, fuck the plan that they had. I've done what they've wanted me to do, which was remain silent. But now I actually want to talk to Mahdi from DeFi Tuna and prove him wrong on a call. It's also he said he was in the room for the Enron launch, right? So obviously he's Enron, because like the timelines match. That's the launch that happened in Barcelona.
Jake's calls at 10 p.m. tonight.
It's gonna be fucking nuts.
You gotta let the lawyers know. So you're not gonna do the call?
No, because I mean, I was dead set on doing it, and I was like going over in my head how I want it to go and how it like makes sense for it to go. And then after advised me that it's don't do it. I've told you to ignore it and just wait for it all to pass, but I basically told him like I can't. Like I don't feel I need to say my piece. Like I can't just pretend like this never happened. I don't want that just out there. Like if people are gonna say what they're gonna say, at least there's reference and I like said my part to it all, and we leave it at that and I can move on. Is right. I don't need to do the call in order to do that. I do it through a video, through how we always do, through content. And why give this person that falsely accused me, shed the worst kind of light on me for absolutely no reason at all, and had no like actual like hanger to hang on? Why give him any of like light? Why give him any benefit of the doubt? Why would I even talk to him? Because clearly all he's wanted is his own manipulative like narrative. For God knows I have no idea what reason. So I'm not gonna do the fucking call. We're gonna make the video, we're gonna put it out, and if people wanna fucking reference me to Libra scam for the rest of my life, they fucking can, but I was innocent, so I'm not doing it.